Very good evening, and Ravi here. Nice to meet all of you again. So today I'll spend some time on going through what happened with Sensex today. Um all right, so I have the screen this side, but that's all right. So yesterday, if you watch the video, these are the lines that I drew yesterday, which are bottom is at about 84,770. This was the previous bottom, and then we also have the top at about 86,020. That was one of the previous high. So as of now, I mean today obviously that did not break, but then if somebody is trading, I'm sure they would have gone into some bit of a challenge. The reason is there was the morning when it started. This I would say this is kind of a M kind of a move, right? So it went up and then came down again, went up and then came down. So technically, I think R2 was the resistance, and then it actually broke the R1 and then tried to. It actually took a very good support at about TC of the CPR. So that is definitely something which is interesting. And then after that, I think there is a definitely this is a manipulative move without any doubt. I think I did tweet earlier, so have a look at it. So I think one thing that you can probably see, right? So generally, Sensex is manipulated by Reliance, which in fact happened. There could have been, I guess, this kind of volume definitely is going to be some bit of a block deal. I did not check today, but eventually Reliance have fell down quite drastically after here. So what I did with Reliance today, I took one trade. I was also, because anything whenever you do trade with Sensex, my suggestion is to always watch out Reliance, because that's how Reliance is used to move Sensex quite a bit. So now the trade that I took was when it touched R2, and then when it tries to go back, I sold 1560 CE, I think, and then obviously I did a spread. I did not want to take risk, so even if it doesn't work, um, it shouldn't really impact me. So that's what which I did. And then I'll probably show the trade in a moment. But this is what which happened, right? So these are the massive volumes, and also there was here also I think two. I think probably this one, I believe, if I remember correct. I'm not able to recollect right now. If we go to 1 minute candle, so there was a sudden spike. Yeah, this is the spike candle. So this is what which I tweeted. This is basically if you go to 10 seconds, somebody have sold 120K worth of stocks in approximately in 10 seconds, and then that approximately comes about 84 crores, I think. That's a number. But anyway, I think overall this is what which happened. If you take other stocks, for instance, HDFC, I'm not expecting there's going to be a massive volume. It is not. So I think only Reliance as of today. That's what I could see from the charts perspective. Maybe what I'll do is I will show the Reliance trade which I did. That will give some good idea of what happened. Where is Reliance trade? Yeah, this is the one I did. So I actually had one trade, but I closed it. That was a bearish trade. So when morning I closed it as soon as the market started. So now if you look at this trade, I sold 1560 CE and then the 1570 CE. And then I bought 1880 CE. And then this is more of a dummy P. In case if there is a movement here and there, it will actually give. So this is how it is looking. If I, in fact, this is what I closed, right? So this is mostly gave some 1 point, closely 2%. I think that's a good number considering. So this trade was exactly taken at, where is this Reliance? Exactly taken at this peak as soon as I saw R2 kind of a broken. That's where I took this trade. So, I mean, this is obviously you can use for next time. We can't do live trades, right? So that's where it is useful. So I know Reliance actually tried to move up, but then I had a some instinct that it want to really not go up. So that's what which happened. All right. So that's the Reliance. So let me look at bit around the CPR. I think I have updated the. So I have to run one program daily. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's updated. Let's look at September 5th. Yeah, I did. So we have few stocks lined up for the narrow CPR for tomorrow, which is Asian Paint. I think is bearish today or bullish. I definitely saw this in one of it came in one of my other indicator. Asian. I think I do have that. Asian Paints. Yeah, I think it went up today. So actually, if you see here, right, I do get the live alerts. So these are the live alerts which actually happen in the market is running right now. It shows 20. This takes the 330 last price. So these are all some of the things I watch. I think I remember seeing Asian Paints, though I didn't trade any of those things because today Sensex expiry. This is where I saw Asian Paint. Anyway, so let's come back to this one, right? So we do have, as I said, a couple of stocks for tomorrow. Narrow CPR, which is Asian Paint, Bajaj Finso, Eternal, which was Zomato, ICICI Bank, Kotak, L&T Maruti, Nifty 50, which is obviously Nifty index, and then we have Nifty Bank and then NTPC. These are all the stocks which are indices, which are narrow CPR for tomorrow. Have an eye on them. In fact, if you look at yesterday, yesterday also Asian Paint was narrow. So let's look at what happened to Asian Paint, right? So if you look at, there was definitely it took a support here, or it took a support and then went up, and again it took a support here, so stayed here. So this is how the narrow CPR works. Generally, narrow CPR considered as one of the strongest resistance. Again, some of these things they're not 100% right, so you just need to be cautious. So they will work sometimes, they'll not work sometimes. I think that's all. That's on the, oh my bad, sorry. That's on the narrow CPR. I think weekly CPR I did cover yesterday. I think that remains same until tomorrow at least. Yeah, when the market opens tomorrow, have a look at it. And this anyway, tomorrow when the market opens, some of these things will be different. So I think it says everything is approaching daily TC. The reason market is closed now. But this is actually quite useful to me when the market is running. Maybe I'll show you something which probably you will be interested. So what I did was, this is actually not the real data. So there is, I have been doing covered calls for some time, and then this is basically a simulation data. I want to check how the covered call would work in various stocks. As of now, this is not the real data. That's the reason I'm not very upbeat about this data, but then at least it will give us some good sense of what happens, right? So now I do have the expiry data for last obviously 10 years or so, right? So now I picked up, for instance, let's me put monthly, and then instead of 50-50, maybe I'll pick up Adani, for instance. So what happens if you do covered call and Adani? So this is what it is. So we'll have to select these parameters anyway. I think Adani, I'm not sure what is the lot size. Maybe let's do HDFC, which I know lot size. So right now I'm assuming HDFC. So this is basically we always sell the call option, and also the assumption is we do have the underlying with us. So that's about 550, I think 550 stocks, and then we would actually sell 2% OTM, which is, for example, if HDFC is about 1,000 rupees, so we will do 2%, which is about 1020 ATM. And also I'm assuming this is basically, let's say 2% of the ATM price. Again, this is an assumption right now, but what I'm going to do tomorrow, day after, I'm going to get the real option data for last 5 years, and then I'm going to put this data so that we'll get a good understanding. So this is what it is. So this actually shows average monthly returns are at about 1.16%, and win rate is 68.3, and the total profit is 2,95,000, and then whatever, this is the number. But then the idea of covered call is you would not exit the stock when it is actually false, right? Only you would exit when it goes up. So With that assumption, this gives almost like 3% returns each month. And covered calls are generally seen as no stress strategies. So it's not required for somebody to really worry what is happening in the market. That's the beauty of it. So as I said, this is the simulation data right now. While the entire stock data is absolutely all right, correct, but these numbers are simulated as of now. So these two are assumptions. So I do not know what kind of premium that would be there. So that's the reason it is still a simulation. But as I said, once I get the real data, options data, I'll be able to do real one. I think it will take probably 2 to 3 days to build this entire one. I will show that once that is done. So last but not least, let's look at why. I think probably we do not need to look at Sensex, it's all done and dusted, but let's look at Nifty for now. I have enabled the AI. Let's let it run and then see what's in store for us. So by the way, if you are very curious, so this what I did was this entire data gets stored in one of the DB, which is called ClickHouse. And so I use one of the LLM. LLM is here DeepSeek, and then what DeepSeek does is it will go to the database and then see patterns, and then it will understand and then come back with the some insight. So right now, what it says, there is a strong call resistance at about 27,000, which is obviously here. This is the highest resistance. But I'm not expecting next week it's going to go there. So that's too much of a resistance. But I think this is our immediate resistance. Let's see. I think PCR is also 0.8, which is as of now bearish. The good thing is the key support is at about still 26000. I think this is where, if you look at Nifty, let's go to here. Nifty has expired about 26033 today. That's what the close price, not expired price. So as of now, 2600 seems to be the good resistance. But then we also have the next one is at about 2500. Sorry, 55500. Apologies. So that's where it is. And then yeah, there is definitely concentrate put support concentration of 2600, and then so this is basically when you have too much of a call written on the top, right? It also says that there is a massive resistance to go up. So that is what it's saying. And then overall it shows bearish, but then the I think my view, it's going to be a bit of a neutral. I'm not expecting any direction to take at this point of time. I think the only bad news that we have is rupee declining. I think today again rupee reached all-time low, which is not a good news. Probably one more not so good news is the aviation. I think Indigo got some challenges either with the pilots or I think they also had some issues internal. I'm not very sure. I think the flight's getting cancelled. That's I mean, when I say Indigo, generally what happens, it's just not the airlines, right? So the entire economy, there would be some bit of an impact when people do not travel. And Indigo is obviously India's largest aeroplane. So I mean, it's not a massive impact on the economy, but then generally that's not a good sign, to be honest. I think overall, even this also saying that there is going to be a narrow trading range, and let's see what's going to happen. I think that's what it is. Maybe we'll look at one stock just for the fun of it, and then see. The stock, obviously, it says there is a strong call resistance. PCR is obviously bearish, 0.53. In fact, today there is a massive fall, right? So I think it's going to really stay there. And then overall, I think overall this Reliance is bearish. And then if you look at perhaps HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank again, this is also bearish, not much of a thing. So we have a massive resistance at about 1,000, I believe. So I think my view is going to stay there. But then tomorrow we have RBI rate announcement. I'll not say rate announcement. So I think not just me, but most of the predictions are there's not going to be a rate cut, but what would happen now? So because the prediction is there is no rate cut, but if there is a rate cut, obviously market is going to move up, and if there is no rate cut, I think it's going to stay wherever it is. So that's what it is. But yeah, watch out at 10 o'clock. So there could be some massive moves here and there, but especially if you're trading on Bank Nifty, keep an eye what's going to happen. I think that's all for now, and let me take any comments. And so we have Sir हमको कस कैसे मिलेगा? Yeah. I think my English, my Hindi is very poor, but then I understood how do I get the indicator. I think so. Indicators, all the indicators that I shared are free, so you can definitely use it. You just go to what is it, Trading View, and then use on chart, and that's fine. I think probably the Nifty probability indicator, I made it as an access driven. The reason is sometimes there are a lot of people from other countries, they start asking, then I have to tell them saying that it's not useful for you. That's all. INR currency context matter for rotation, and I think INR currency, my view, I think good question. My view shouldn't matter. See, the thing is, when Indian currency goes up, right? Obviously, the exports would be, people who wants to export, they will be very happy. The other side rather, or even or even our side, right? So people who are exporting, they'll get more money, right? So they will be happy, but people are importing, they'll be unhappy because they'll have to pay more Indian rupees. That's the problem. But will it have any impact on the rate cut decision? My view is no. But generally, rate cut is designed in line to the inflation and then the GDP growth. Generally, if the GDP growth is, let's say, subdued, or when I say subdued, it's little low, then what happens? The only way to improve the economy is, it's going to be a little bit micro or macroeconomics, right? So the only way to improve the economy is to make the people to spend more. So how people would spend more? They'll obviously they take the loans and then spend more. So to take the loans, then what they do is they'll go and then they go to bank, and then if the interest rates are a little lower than yesterday, then they'll take more money. So that's how it is. But right now, I think GDP is, at least on the paper, it looks good. While there are a lot of questions on the authenticity of the GDP alone, but that's what it is. So we'll have to trust the data and then move on. Inflation also, I don't think it's bad. So I think that's probably is okay, right? So I think combining all those things, if the, let's say if the GDP was little lower, then I think the rate cut would be definitely an appropriate decision. But right now, for me, it doesn't make sense. But let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. So RBI definitely are more brainy than us, right? So they might come up with something which is definitely good for economy and the country. I think that's all. Those are all the couple of things that I want to share. And for me, probably the Nifty, I would say, if I have to look at some range, let's do that straight away. Um, so I think this is probably, so I already drew the line here. I think it's going to, this 26319, I think this week definitely is going to be massive resistance. And maybe I'll add one more and then see. So if I look at this, right, so we are in the 1 hour chart, and I think as of now, even this 1 hour chart, I got the strong sell here. And unless this actually breaks this 26112, I'm not expecting any up. As of now, anything about 26, this range 26100, I would not consider as a bullish move right now. I think one good advantage when you're at the 80H, it's easy for us to short the calls, and probability of again this getting on 80H is very low. But I think if somebody is selling puts or whatever, they need to be a bit careful. But I think generally 80H, I tend to do the short only on the call side. Let's see. As of now, I think for this current expiry, I would think this is definitely a massive resistance. And bottom side, we can actually look at this line, which is there is a strong up move, right? The very fat candle here. This was an unexpected candle on last Wednesday. I think this is the range. The range is 25850, and then the 26350 we can take. This is about not very massive range, but about 400 points, I think. I think that's all from my end, and have a great remaining day, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye bye.